together, and what we've built has been significant in our life. Think about that with your husband. Think about that with your husband, your wife, your significant other if you're not married, however it goes. Because a lot of times I sit with my husband and we look around at each other and say, look how far we've come. And normally that's what it's all about. It's not about just sex. It's not just about just being together. There's another part to being in a relationship, and that's building, that's taking care of each other, that's making sure that person knows that you're there for them on a day, and when nobody else in the world would be there, you can bet I'll be coming through the door and I'm going to be there. I'll be there. And that's what your mate needs to hear. I'll be there. Children and their offsprings as well. That's another benefit from your mate. Having children and looking around and seeing your offsprings one day and saying, wow, one day these were babies. Now they're adults. And they can share in the pleasures of life with us as adults. And as we age, they're coming into their own. Okay? Oneness and purity with your soulmate. When I say oneness, that means nobody's touching your mate but you. Nobody's seeing that mate but you naked. Nobody's showering with that mate but you. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's seeing the imperfections that your mate thinks that they have, but you feel that is beautiful because that's who they are, and you love the person. You don't. It's not always about the looks of everything. None of us can be perfect forever. There's no perfect human being, but beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And that's the oneness and the purity that no one's touching my stuff but me. This is mine. We're married. This person belongs to me and I belong to that person. And we know that we're one together. And when they cry, I cry. When he smiles, I laugh. You know what I'm saying? When they hurt, he hurts. When she hurts, he hurts. When he hurts, she hurts. That's the soulmate. A bond like no other. You go to your rock. The one who will be there when nobody else is. The one that will hurt, like I said, when you hurt. At some point, you can even finish each other's sentences. Would you lose this incredible bond, or would you fight for it? The sad part of it is some people will never experience this type of bond in their lifetime. And if you have it, keep it and work on it. Because it is one of the most important things that you'll do in your life is keeping that relationship. You are the only one who knows if your relationship brings value to one another or it has become toxic. That's not a toxic relationship. If you can't fix it, you can't keep it because it'll destroy both of you. Again, this is part of the circle of life, and you are responsible for what's in the circle. Whether this circle is choking you, that's one thing. Okay? Or are you flourishing? If you're flourishing, you continue to water your seeds and watch them grow. If you're suffocating, it's time to let go, and it's just simply time to come up for air. Okay? Let's talk about, I call her Rhonda May. That's all I could think of. Her role in a relationship. It is okay to say no. She called me up, and she said, I'm having a problem. And she says, I'm having a problem, and this person is trying to make me be their girlfriend. I said, okay, well, how do you feel about this person? And she said, I like him as a friend, but I don't really like him for a boyfriend. He's just not what I want. And I said, okay, so why are you spending time with him? If he's, don't feed that time to him because you're leading him on. And if you know you don't want to be in a relationship with him, you can't have it both ways. So you have to leave him alone because you can't give to him what he wants. So we talked, and what it all came down to is she wants to please other people. And she's looking for acceptance. And you can't get acceptance for everyone. You got to figure out why you're putting yourself in this situation. You're not really looking for anything from this person. It's not a financial obligation. It's not anything that you're really doing. You're just trying to spend quality time because you don't want to be alone. And you want, in her subconscious mind, her stomach is letting her know that these negative actions have led to negative behaviors. And sometimes people want acceptance and validation, so they will forget about self. And on the other hand, the person is taking more and more of you. Then along the way, self comes in and takes a stand. Hello, subconscious. That's the subconscious mind. Subconscious says, you are making me sick and I can't take it. So now I'm going to make you really, really uncomfortable and sick if I have to. Listen to your body. You get that uncomfortable feeling. It's time for fight or flight. The feeling comes along. The critter brain starts jumping up and down. And we talked about that in the last session. We have to go back. You're going to have to go back and listen to the episode before this one, SSS, to understand the critter brain. But what happens is she's really, really stuffing her feelings and suffocating herself. And so all in one session, we got down to the bottom of it. We got down to the bottom of her not being able to say no. And I said, it's okay for you to say no. It's okay. You can't please everyone. You need to focus on you. And how do you focus on you? It's okay to be lonely, but work on your business. Work on finding your business, talking to friends, establishing relationships with friends. I know this is COVID, so you can't move around as much as you would like to, but what does make you happy? And then later on, she said to me, she said, you know what? I like discovering what I do like in my new self. Because now she's ready for 2021 and she's ready to work on self. And that's like free time, music, her environment, what makes her happy in her environment, working more on her business, having gratitude because it's growing, working more on staying healthy, exercising, eating the right foods, and looking at what's coming from it. And so just her being able to not stomach something that she knew she shouldn't do and leading someone on or being with some because you're trying to be friends because you don't want to be lonely, but at the same time, let's find something constructive to do instead of, taking these negative behaviors and stuffing how you feel because someone wants more of you because you're a beautiful girl. But the more that they want, you can't give them. So you don't want to be culpable. And that's what you don't need to do. And this is what we came on. So back to the circle of life again, personal growth and self-development. That was part of it for her. Okay. Personal growth is the process by which a person recognizes himself or herself and continually develops himself or herself to reach his or her own full potential. Personal growth is an important part of a person's growth, maturity, success, and happiness. But you got to ask yourself, where am I at in my life? How do I identify with self in the most truthful ways? I'm not stroking my own ego. I'm not going to be coming from a place of, I'm not going to just say, I'm stroking my ego and I'm just going to say what feels good to me. You're going to come from a place of truth within you in the deepest place of honesty within yourself. You got to ask yourself, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are my habits, good and bad? It comes to identify each one of those. How? You pursue the knowledge of what you need to get you where you want to be by discovery, by resources, by coaching, by mentors. Most importantly, the pursuit to find and identify what pushes you forward to identify with your life's vision, your goals, and most of all, starting on that journey or restarting all over again, reinventing, no matter how many times you have to, as long as you commit to yourself. And that's part of the circle of life while we establish healthy relationships so that we can talk to friends, family, significant other to say, hey, look, I'm struggling with this, blah, blah. What do you think about this? Okay, I think I'm going to get a coach. I think I'm going to do this. You know what I'm saying? I think that I want to really pursue personal development and growth. I want to pursue this. I want to see development in myself. This is 2021. I don't want to be the same person with the same issues and the same problems singing the same old song that I was singing in 2020. I want to have had some type of progress and significant growth in 2021. And this is your time. This is January 2021. It's time to get busy, right? It is. So, when it's time, I want you to pursue. For many of us, pursuing, reinventing, stepping back, taking a step back. For many of this, it'll be a lifelong journey, and you're just going to keep reinventing yourself. And you're going to call this growth. And then one day, you're going to say, okay, I've done so much in my life looking back. I'm proud of what I've done. So let's continue to drill down quality time, downtime, your time, recreational time. You got to have that too. That's in the circle of life. Having fun is what makes us human. And that fun flows into happiness. Good food, playing games, making love, having recreational fun, all of these things and more fill up our brains and bodies with those chemicals that make us feel good, that produce health. You know it's happening when you're having fun. And this thing is called dopamine. It's the neurotransmitter in our brain that sends signals that control movement, emotion, and our abilities to experience pleasure and pain. Okay? Low dopamine is linked to numerous mental health disorders, but does not directly cause these conditions, but has been linked to those. The most common conditions linked to dopamine deficiency, depression, schizophrenia, psychosis, including hallucinations or delusions, and Parkinson's disease. So let's make sure we take some time out to have fun in life. All work and no play can be dangerous to us too. So let's just say, again, circle of life and balance. So now let's discuss home and how you're living in your career. Let's discuss a little bit of that. This is the one that just kind of hit home in so many ways when I was reading it. You know, your home, for me, my home is my sanctuary. Where you rest, where you play, where you wind down, where you're happy, where you spend time with your family, where you rest, where you recharge, where you unwind again, and where you have reflection of who you are and what you're doing, what you've been doing, what you need to do, looking back, thinking back, and moving forward. I found something so interesting that I wanted to share this on the show. Everybody knows that I read all day, every day, working. Because of sacrifice, so many of our healthcare workers are facing and trying to help people all over the world because of COVID-19 and the sacrifices that they make away from home, life, families, and for career. So first of all, I just want to say thank you, and we acknowledge you. And this was a very interesting medical article, and this article was in the United States National Library of Medicine, because I was in there reading, and it was in there. And I wanted to read something a physician wrote. And this, again, was in the United States National Library of Medicine. And this is in this finding balance between your work and your personal life does not just happen. According to professionals in the field of physicians' well-being, you have to work at it. And the time to do so is now. This is what this physician said. That's part of it. So let's get into what the physician was saying. Balance requires effort, planning, and trade-off, says John Schooling, MD, MPH, internal medicine professor and director of physical wellness programs at the University of Virginia School of Medicine, referring to a psychology of postponement attributes to physicians. Snorling comments, we always think life will be better in the next phase. When I'm out of residency, after my fellowship, as soon as my practice is built up. Scorlin stresses life will never change if you're waiting for the future. The first step in finding work-life balance, and that's what we're calling it, work-life balance, is recognizing that this is just not going to happen. You have to be proactive. Reinforcing this approach, Anna Lake, MD, a physician life coach who offers workshops on physician wellness, states, when we stop believing that we're just victims of our situation and we see that we're really perpetrators, then we will see change. Lake advises physicians to track important indicators of well-being over time, including close relationships, general health, energy level, satisfaction with work and daily life. If there is a decline, look at behaviors and make adjustments. Hello, circle of life. So let's keep going. Soldiering on, a common but misguided practice. For physicians, tracking these well-being indicators may not be as straightforward as it sounds. According to Lake, she notes that the process of medical training sets physicians up to fail at self-care. You have to be a high performer. You ignore emotions. Take time for yourself to discover or discourage you ignoring bodily sickness